everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey everybody, Cantonese Cat here for an initial weekend update here for a lot of the chart requests that you guys have thrown my way here from my members. I'm sorry, I kind of took Friday off because I was watching a couple movies with Mrs. Cat, but here we are again, going to fulfill a lot of your chart requests here. First off, somebody asked about XYZ, what happens after earnings. I basically posted this chart. I think a lot of people see the same thing too. It's basically a little bit of a back test of a bearish trend here. With increasing volume, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to hold, but it's a pretty good area where if it's going to break down to hold, right? I do have to say that it's still showing some pretty interesting thing here in terms of the 2-week Ichimoku cloud. I've been following this for like months and months and months now. Initially, it looked like it was going to break out because you have a katana here, but because it was just not ready yet. You spent about the entire 2 months trying to break above the 2-week Ichimoku cloud, was not able to. So what happens? You break down, back test the bottom of the Ichimoku cloud here, right at the spot right there. Doesn't mean that you can break out of the Ichimoku cloud. There's always that possibility, but it's just a lot of confluent zone in terms of where price is at right now that could serve as support. It did end up, also back testing the top of the weekly Ichimoku cloud here. A lot of really beautiful things about this chart that are telling me that, hey, maybe we're getting close to the bottom, if not already there. But again, on huge volume sell-off, I don't know whether or not I would recommend just getting into it. But if you want to catch a falling knife, I think this is a pretty decent spot to catch a falling knife at. It did also backtest the Kijun down here. Sometimes it's not a bad thing to catch the Kijun. Here again, the month is too early. There's still another week to go. I think we probably end up closing about the Kijun here, but we'll see. That there are a lot of things here. I'm just looking at like, that doesn't look bad here at all. Same thing, right? 20-month moving average. All this right now is just forming a higher low here compared to that. After forming a higher high, boom, 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 boom. Right. This is a bull trend, and the 20-month moving average is trying to tell us that as well. Maybe we end up closing the month about the 20-month moving average here, which is going to be $69.71. We'll see whether or not we're going to end up doing that. But so far, it still strikes me as a pretty decent setup overall. With that said, I don't know whether or not this is going to take off the gate and just kind of run up a lot higher real fast, right? I don't know. If you look at the Ichimoku, after it backtests the Kijun, that's great. If it breaks back above, I think that if you're trying to talk about this inverted head and shoulder pattern over here, again, the target, this is 40. The neckline is around 80. I think the target's going to be around 120, which is going to be bottom of the cloud over here. I still think that it's going to be the target. The lower it goes, the better risk-reward ratio it is for it to potentially double, right? So is it going to happen right away? I don't know. Is it going to happen later on in the year? Maybe, right? It could happen all the way to like Q3 or even Q4, maybe a little bit low over here. After it's done consolidating sideways, it could be, but it's building a very powerful base over here. This whole inverted head and shoulder pattern over here is valid because volume has been going down the entire time during this consolidation. Even with the bad earning candle, so far the month of February volume is actually not that great. So we'll see. We still have another week here. Maybe you're going to end up having more volume here for the next week, but that might end up just finding support over here. And we'll end up just finding support over here. We'll see. That's XYZ for you. The next stock, somebody asked me, is APLD. No idea what this is. Let's take a look at it. Applied Digital Corporation. I think I drew a Gann chart here, and it's very disorienting. So I'm going to turn off the Bollinger Band here. I'm going to turn off a few things. Let me look at the Gann here. 360 and 1. Right off the bat, it's been stuck at resistance, and I've been showing this Gann chart here for quite a long time. It's been stuck underneath this range over here, top of the arc, bottom of the arc. Right now it's getting back to the top of the arc here. You do have a bullish engulfing candle that engulfed the last 2 weeks, so it favors for bullish continuation to the upside, but right now you're still at resistance, right? The other resistance that you could be at right now, in addition to the Gann arc, is in addition to the Gann arc is the 0.786 around $13.73. That's also going to be a potential resistance zone up here. So maybe we break above the arc and just kind of hold it underneath over here before pushing up higher. I don't know, but right now it certainly looks like it's engulfing a couple of bearish candles over here. It looks like it wants to try to break through the cloud, not the cloud, try to break through the arc over here and get up a lot higher. We'll see if it is able to get about the 0.786, then it can re-challenge the 0.86. If it's able to re-challenge 0.786, then it's all-time high, right? Potentially, right? I do think that usually things, if they break above the 0.786 or 0.86, all-time highs are possible. Do I think it's going to go all the way up to like 1,000? I don't know. All I can say is I think that this is still a pretty decent setup because this break over here is still a higher high compared to that, and this over here is a higher low compared to that. I think the trend is changing from its top over here, and a bullish engulfing candle is promising, so we'll see how it works out. I just wish that the volume last week was a little bit higher, but it's a shorter trading week, so be it. Okay. That's APLD. The other one, somebody asked me about AMP. I'm guessing you're asking me about the altcoin AMP. Let me see if I can pull up here on my thing here. I do have a position in AMP, and I do have a Gantt chart here for AMP. And what I'm really seeing here with AMP is that it's just been going down here on the arc, right? 180.001. Okay, it's just been going down the arc over here, and it's been holding the arc okay. If I look at some of the Ichimoku, like it kind of broke down a little bit underneath the Super Ichi, but it broke inside of Super Ichi and it's kind of testing bottom of Super Ichi cloud over here, right? Nothing unusual about this chart. Look at Ichimoku, it's broken down underneath. Look at the 2 week, it also has broken down underneath the 2 week Ichimoku cloud here. I don't have much else to say, you know, that sometimes you break down underneath the cloud, so be it. It broke down underneath over here too. I don't think it's that big of a deal, especially for a volatile asset, you know, such as this. But if I look at a higher time frame, look at the monthly, you can see how it's really still holding it very, very nice. You can see how you have 3 inside candles, this green candle over here. We end up closing above the 21 moving average, curling up like that after having a back test with a wick with a declining volume. I think this thing is going to end up shooting up higher, right? I think it's just looks like it's a pretty good setup. This could be a little bit of a rising 3 type situation because you have 3 inside candles, a big giant green candle on declining volume. Whenever it's done consolidating sideways over here in downs, it's going to have some, you know, pretty cool bullish continuation moving forward. So would I add to AMP right here? Probably so, but I just think that there are a lot of altcoins that are looking pretty decent right now, so I don't really have much else to say about it. Somebody asked me about HIMS. What's next? I did make a video for Danny's Patreon using his charts for him exclusively, but you know, for me, if you ask me where things are, yeah, I think it's entirely possible it goes back down to 1.272. Entirely possible. That would be the next logical location for it to go down to, because if you look at the daily, it looks like it wants to get back down there. It just looks like it wants to get back down. There's no wick underneath below, right? You look at the Bollinger Band here with the 20-day moving average. Depending on where the 20-day moving average is to be next day, it could get closer to 1.272, right? It could even be the 1.236, which is going to be a little bit underneath the 20-day moving average, right around that range, right? Either $43 to $47. I think you're probably going to be getting some pretty decent support there around that zone. If you don't find decent support around that zone, then you can talk about possibly going lower. But if you look at overall here, all it was doing is just way outside the weekly Bollinger Band here. It just simply had to come back and close and touch the upper Bollinger Band here. Otherwise, you start out the week like way above the upper Bollinger Band here. It's just not sustainable. So that's what it's doing right now. That's what I think. It needs to find a higher low here before further bullish continuation. I think the lowest it goes in maybe like the mid-30s. But I think you can find some pretty decent support anywhere around 43 to 47. Ichimoku Tenkin's also rising, is right around that range. Tenkin's also right around 43. Right. So I think those are gonna be a couple areas to kind of look at here in terms of where you could potentially find support. Interesting how it kind of stuck in range between Tenkin and Kitchen here after it broke down. But anyway, that's HIMS. You asked me about miners. I'll talk about miners on a different video here. I'll probably end up talking about miners on a live stream like I usually do. I got 2 requests here by SHM Bull. I can only really do one. Don't have enough time to do both, but I'm just gonna right off the bat here, looking at a higher time frame on the monthly. What is it doing right now? DDOG is looking like a dog. How far can DDOG go? Maybe the Kijun down here on 115.74. I think that's entirely a possibility. Maybe it's finding support here, a rising 20-month moving average already, and it's going to go up from here. Who knows, right? But I think right now you got a pretty decent area of support. Looking at the weekly here, again, same thing, confluence around 115, 116. That would be the back test at the top of the cloud here. After it broke through back test, that's not at the end of the world, right? It's actually something that is somewhat expected. Looking at Bollinger Band, you can also see how you can go down as far as like the 114, 115 range. to the lower Bollinger Band. Sometimes when it breaks down underneath the 20-week moving average, it wants to touch the lower Bollinger Band. It happens over and over again, right? Break down, touch the lower Bollinger Band, up. Break down, touch the lower Bollinger Band, up, right? Who knows? Maybe it's going to come down and touch 114, 115 range. So that's kind of what I'm favoring, especially since you have no wick last week. Maybe have a little bit of bearish continuation here for DDOG. And after that, I think it's going to have some further bullish continuation because I think this is a higher low compared to this higher low over here, compared to this higher low over there. I think you're going to end up having some further bullish continuation. One last thing I want to look at is FIB levels. What I got to say about FIB levels is this: since it broke down underneath the 0.5, the next destination, where is it? The 0.382, 114. That's probably where it's going to go. After that, we'll see if we challenge the 0.5 here again and go higher, but that's probably the final destination for this downtrend. That's my guess. 114, 115, 116. Next up is you have LUME. Is there any potential? Is what I was asked. LUME is, whoa, what is this? Luxembourg? No, I think you've got to be asking me about something else. I have no idea what. Oh, that's probably, you're talking about Lumen? I have no idea. I'm going to actually get back to you. If you can give me the correct how do you say that? Yeah, the correct ticker, I can chart this because I don't think this is right. And then somebody asked about Mara. I'm probably going to do chart Mara. I'm going to talk a little bit more extensively later on. As briefly, I just think that this bullish rectangle pattern is still in place. I'm just going to leave it as that. I don't have much else to add right now at this point. I'm going to think a little bit harder when I'm doing my live stream and talk a little bit more about it. But I just think that it's just got stuck in the range. Institutions are still accumulating. They have a lot of Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's going to go higher. I have nothing else to say about this more than that at this time. All right, guys, take care. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye now.